Hi, it's Terry. It's Sunday and I'm sewing in my jammies. I wanted to show you this information we've shown before, but we have a number of embroidery patterns on our website, which you see right there. And this one I've shown you before. This is called Vintage Lace Ornaments. It's pretty new, and we started working on them. This is going to be kind of collaborative. I'm doing the tracing and I'm doing the coloring. And Rose, our embroidery teacher, is going to do the embroidery on them. So what I wanted to show you, first of all, I wanted to point out her website, Crabapple Hill. On her website, she has a video for coloring with crayons, like Crayola crayons, and also for coloring with Prismacolor pencils. That's going to be a video for another day, so I'm just going to show you crayons today. So the first thing I did was I traced all the designs, and she has full-size designs in there. There are 15 designs. On this one, I started out with a 05 Pigma pen. Can you see that? Because I don't really see all that well. But I felt like that was too big to cover with beautiful embroidery. It's just kind of thick stitches. So then I went down to a 01, and I traced everything else with a 01. We do have a 005, which is marginally smaller than the 01. But if you get a 01, that's pretty safe. And you could use any color, but we kind of like the brown for tracing. So I traced a bunch of them. They're all stacked up there. A couple I traced on the wrong side. This is a linen from Andover. It's actually 100% cotton, but it's dark. And I traced a few, you can kind of tell here. I traced a few of them on the wrong side so they'd be a little lighter, so there'd be a little difference. You could also trace them on all different kinds of fabrics. So I did that. And then I started to color. When you use the crayons, color crayons, you use white first. And you can kind of go like this with it, or you can go around in circles. I was only tinting the very edge, so I just went a little past that for the white. And then I did the same thing with this one, with this little ornament at the top. Now, when you look at the crayons, these are all yellow. But I thought I really want to make sure it's the right yellow to color this in with. So I put the white down first. Then I got the floss that it's going to be stitched with. She likes to use the Cosmo floss. This one is called Seasons. It's variegated. And so on the edge here, I just used the crayons a little bit without white, but that'd give you an idea. This to me looks super orange. And if you can see right there, it's really light. So it's a good idea to test the colors, unless you're using the exact color she calls for. But on this project, she called for Prisma pencils. So I was trying to do the same thing with Crayola crayons. Now this one looks lighter than that, but it's actually darker when you put it on the fabric. And then this one's a pretty bright lemon yellow, and it looks kind of fluorescent. So I ended up using the second yellow that I showed you and went in with that. And then I did the same thing here with the cheeks. I was kind of testing the cheek colors, and I had already done that on this heart. So before you stitch, you want to use an iron and heat set. I'm going to have to make sure this is hot enough, but I'm going to use an iron and heat set. If you feel like you've made any mistakes, oh, this isn't on. Excuse me a minute. That'll heat up in a little bit. If you've made any mistakes, you can use this Loctite that you can get, in a hardware store or probably Kroger or anywhere. And you can kind of get some of the extra color off. So I don't know if you could see that very well, But the first one was colored very brightly, and the second, so I got it off with the Loctite. And so that's just kind of a good thing to know. A lot of times we trace things with friction pens, but they go away with an iron. And you don't want to do that after you've done all your hard work tracing. So you definitely want to use a regular pen, this kind, Pigma pen. And then you're going to heat set it. And when you heat set it, you want to use plain paper. Or you can put freezer paper under it and over it. So I'm going to just put a piece of plain paper. And here's something you should know. You don't want to use the paper and then use it again on the next piece necessarily, unless you can be sure that you're not getting the same, because some of this is going to come off. So hopefully that's not all the way to max, but you can kind of see how some of it came off on there. And now it doesn't look, it looks like it's really part of the fabric. It doesn't look like it's like riding on top of the surface. So you can color everything at once and heat set everything at once. Or if you need to pass it on to somebody else to stitch, you can do them one at a time. But that's the coloring portion with Crayola crayons. And she does recommend a box of 64 Crayola crayons. Those of us that do this very much keep those crayons separate from any crayons our grandchildren play with, so they can be really nice and fresh. And then the patterns that she uses the Crayola crayons for, she tells you the exact color that you need. So I hope you try this technique. You don't have to even have a pattern to try it out, but I hope you get to do this, and I hope you get to sew today. Bye-bye.